Welcome again this evening to the Leadership Challenge show. We thank God that He has enabled us to discuss and have conversation on issues and matters that touch on leadership. Of course, all of us, we are trusting God for good leadership in our country, in our churches, in our institutions, in our homes, and in every level of society. We desire good leadership. And that is the thing that informs us here at EBN TV, that we need to create a conversation on how leaders have led and whether the leadership that is being offered by these leaders is transforming the people they are leading and transforming the areas these people come from, whether the infrastructure, whether the systems, the structures are working and functioning. We expect to see transformation in a nation if leadership is doing well. Welcome today to this another episode, and I believe you can talk to us because on the screen there is a number that is appearing there, and you can tell us your thoughts and also give us more inputs on the conversation. With us in studio again, and as I've always liked, I have Pastor David together with me in studio. And Pastor David is strategic management expert, but he's also a pastor at Redeemed Gospel Church, Buruburu. Welcome, Pastor David. Greet us and say something before we take off.
Thank you very much, Rev Felix Kavoi. And hello, viewers. It is quite important when we discuss about leadership, because most of the things that we do, actually, if they are going to shape up, they are actually going to shape up depending on the kind of leadership that we have. And therefore, it is very important for us to understand the styles and the levels of leadership, because this is going to take us to the next level.
Thank you so much, Pastor David. And last time we talked about leadership styles, and I think we majorly covered two.
Correct. Yes.
And something that people are still talking about on social media is the mushroom example. And do you remember what you said last time? You can say it maybe.
Yeah, actually what we said is that if you want to grow mushroom, what you do is actually keep them in the dark and feed them with manure.
Oh.
And after that, you'll be able to get the results. That is the mushroom.
That's
this is exactly we were bringing in some of the styles of leadership.
Yeah.
Whereby the leader will actually keep you in the dark.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they will produce something. But the question is, are they producing what they are supposed to produce?
What have they produced?
Correct.
At the end of the day?
Yes.
I would not want a lot of explanation of the manure, especially after the mushrooms have been kept in the dark. But it's very interesting to see that leaders can hide important information to people so that they can manage them. But also what is appearing out of this example is that we will not have the best, because definitely we are not out here to produce mushrooms.
Yes.
We are out here to produce corn, beans, and staple food that can help the masses. We pick it up from there, my dear viewer, and we go straight into leadership styles. And Pastor David will be here to help us maybe recap on the two styles that we discussed last time, and then we can now push on to the next styles of leadership. Of course, the two styles that we covered last time are not the best styles of leadership, and it's not what we want for our country. Welcome,
Correct.
Pastor.
Thank you, Reverend, again. Actually, last time we covered the coercive style of leadership.
Yes.
Or autocratic, which we realized it is not good at all in terms of it brings disunity in terms of the people that you are leading.
Yeah.
And therefore, we should avoid it at all the time. Sometimes you'll find that the leaders will have to use it, especially when they want to pass something which they know it is not popular.
Oh.
So that particular time they will use their authority to be able to move forward. But you cannot sustain that kind of leadership.
You cannot sustain that.
And that's why it is good also to go to other leadership styles which you can be able to sustain and people are going to be happy with.
It appears like it is this autocratic style of leadership that grows a lot of mushroom.
Yeah, it does actually, because at the end of the day, there is what the leader wants, and whether you want it or you don't want it,
it will go through.
It's going to.
So keep the people in the dark.
Yeah, you keep them.
Put a lot of manure.
That is the
Let the thing grow up.
Sure.
The next style that we
The next style that we talked about is a style that actually we have seen it in practice in the recent few weeks.
Yeah.
That is the transactional.
The transactional.
Where people are actually given something in order to make a decision.
Important decisions.
And therefore, it is actually something else which is not good in terms of leadership, because you are not really making people follow you because of the policies on what you are able to do for them. But what you are doing is actually what we call the carrot and a stick. So you are actually giving them something so that they come to the decision that you want. So you are just selfish. It is a leader who is too selfish about themselves and they don't care about the people. And that's why it is important that we progress now to the other levels of styles of leadership, which is going to help us to appreciate some of the strong things that you can do.
Don't you think this style of leadership where it's transactional, it's leadership that, as you are saying, too selfish, but at the same time, the leader does not care the welfare of the people. He cares only about what he wants. And is willing to buy people, is willing to give any amount of money so that whatever he wants. So in essence, the leader uses people.
That is it.
Uses the masses to drive what he wants across, which is selfish.
It is very selfish.
And only for his selfish gains.
Yes.
We need to avoid it here in our country, and all of you viewers, you are hearing what we are saying here. These are styles of leadership that are dangerous for societies, and we should discourage them. And when people come holding something to buy us, we should refuse. We don't have to be given anything to elect a good leader. What are the other styles of leadership, especially as we move towards the best that make societies grow?
The other style of leadership, which is quite popular, is what we call democratic style of leadership. Democratic style of leadership. The democratic style of leadership, now it brings in the people. You have the value for the people. And their ideas are important. And that's where now you give people a room to be able to give you some few ideas about what is happening. And at that particular time, you'll find that people will be given full information. They will be told this is where we are going, and these are some of the things that we are facing, and they are able to make decisions. So what will happen is the ideas are going to be generated, and you are not going to hide anything below, such that people are actually now being asked, there is this issue, what do you think about it? So you are seeking at least the thinking of other people. And it is also called participative leadership styles, because you are engaging people. So if you want to see engaged followers, it is where you give them a leeway to be able to make some decisions concerning the matters. And the good thing about democratic style of leadership is that even when it comes to the final results, people are going to own the results. Because they are going to say, I participated in the process. It was part of my decision. And therefore, the whole responsibility, you'll find that it doesn't sit only with the leader. The responsibilities also goes to the follower. And this actually brings a synergy in terms of bringing a great thing. Great ideas, creativity starts coming in. And therefore, according to the research, this is one of the best style of leadership. It may have its ups and downs, which you'll be able to cover them.
Of course,
But generally, this is one of the styles that you are going to have motivated followers. You are going to have motivated people. People are going to feel that at least we are part and parcel of what is happening.
Yeah.
And therefore, when people feel that we are part and parcel of what is happening, you are going also to bring what we call trust.
Yeah.
We realized in the first two, there is a loss of trust.
Yeah.
But where now you come to democratic styles of leadership, participative leadership,
Yeah.
trust starts coming in.
Yeah.
And when people trust you, you do not really need to do all those other things that we are seeing, especially in transactional.
Yes, yes.
You only need to have the trust and you win the heart of people.
Wow.
And therefore, that is one leadership style that I would say, if we are to become excellent and great leaders, let's help people also to participate in what is happening.
Yeah.
And most of the people who have actually followed this, they have an easier time in terms of even making the policies, because everybody, let's say for example, you see like the Constitution of Kenya.
Yeah, the Constitution of Kenya. In fact, I wanted to ask you about practically on our national stage about the 2010 Constitution, which people were given opportunity to participate.
Yes.
But funny enough, in our country this year, we are also rewriting the Constitution, amending the Constitution, but with almost nil participation. Yeah, I don't know what you can say about the process right now that we have compared to the 2010 process.
Actually, it is good that you have brought it up.
Yeah.
Because even the last time what we said is that leadership is a process. It is not a position.
It's not a position.
And where you find a position is whereby people want to use authority and force.
Yeah.
And that is the difference between today and the 2010.
Oh.
You realize 2010, there was a lot of participation.
Yeah.
And even when you find even the Constitution, it talks about the public participation. That there is nothing that can pass without public participation. This element has also been brought in BBI.
Yeah.
But the issue is, the people who are talking about the participation, they are not even engaging people.
Yeah.
You find that if it is like the MCAs, they go, they have the document, they discuss about it, within 2 days, they have passed it.
Yeah.
So where is the public participation?
By the way, Pastor David, as we are talking right now, the BBI has already passed in almost all the counties. I think 3 or 4 voted it down. But although it is gone through, it is largely not a people-driven process.
It is not people-driven process.
Yeah.
And that's why you can see there is a lot of, campaigns which are starting to gear up. Because even if the MCA and even the Parliament and the Senate are going to pass, there is also that step whereby if the people of Kenya have not bought in the whole issue about the BBI, they can pass it, and the people who is Wajiko can actually make it to go down.
Yeah.
And therefore, what happens is lack of that participation. Wajiko feels that we were not involved in the whole of these things.
Yeah.
And when they feel that they are not involved, what happens is that you'll find that there is going to be a lot of agitation. You'll find that you'll try to push in anything, but people are actually saying, well, this is for you, it is not for us.
And I think it is the responsibility of the leaders, even if the BBI has some benefits in it, it is still the responsibility of the leader to convince the masses and to explain to the masses until they buy the idea, rather than push upon them and begin to say, this is the best for this country. Okay, you are saying it's the best, but make us like it. Because Pastor David, I'm wondering, in case the constitutional amendment goes through, who will celebrate? And will the Kenyans have the same feeling they had that momentous time, like in 2010, where everybody felt the country has achieved something and everybody was happy and rejoicing? Shall we see the same joy if the BBI-driven amendments go through?
Let me tell you, celebration comes in
when
you know what you are celebrating for. And that's why when we started about the story about mushroom, about hiding things.
Hiding things, yeah.
If you keep on hiding things, even when the victory comes, people will not know what kind of victory are they talking about, what it really means for them. Because as you have said rightly, it is not that BBI is not good. By the way, there are quite a number of good things that are in BBI.
But the leaders are failing to explain it to the people.
Yes, they have not given. Right now, and we said even the other time, we said most of the Kenyans, they do not know even which BBI we are talking about.
Oh yeah, because it has metamorphosed.
For like 3 times.
Yeah, yeah.
So nobody really, most of the people do not know exactly which document should I read. Because there are some things which were removed, there are other things which were added, and therefore we do not have the final document as Wajiko, which we can say this is the final document. Yesterday I was watching the news, and I realized there are some people who have said, if you do not give us the books, we are not going to vote for this document. Why is it they are saying that? It's because you don't really know even what you are voting for.
Yeah.
But I can tell you from some of the information that we have, some of the issues that are in BBI, for sure they are going to sort us on some few areas. But there are quite a number of issues which are still there, which again they are not good. And that's why you are hearing some of the leaders says there is still time. We can look at this document and we can be able to make some few changes. But now what is happening is that there are some people who already have made their decisions.
But help us to understand, because there could be good things, and definitely they say there are good things in the BBI, but there could be other bad things that undo every good that is in BBI. For example, there is this discussion about the independence of the judiciary.
Yes.
The independence of the judiciary. No matter what good is in that BBI, as long as our courts are not free to make independent rulings, have we really healed the nation?
Those are some of the issues now. You can hear most of the leaders, they are against. Because there is what they call the sweeteners and a bit of poison.
Oh.
There can be sweeteners and a bit of something. And that's exactly many times we say.
Yeah.
If you tell me there is a bit of poison in this water, and you tell me water is good, but there is a bit of poison, a little bit of a poison here, it is going to make me not to take this water. Because you are talking about a little. So the thing is, you should give me clean water if you want me to take the water. So what we are saying is there are some few things that are glaring, and we already know about them, as like the one that you have talked about, judiciary.
Yeah.
But you see right now, even when you look at our country today, there is a lot of impunity.
Yeah.
Right now, the courts can make a decision.
Yeah.
And it gets to where the president is, and the decision is not implemented at all.
Yeah.
And these are some of the things that people are saying. If this is what is happening right now, and right now we are not strengthening the judiciary, what is going to happen after we pass this?
Yeah.
And these are some of the concerns that we are fighting. There are quite a number of concerns, as you have said.
Yeah.
And when we look at how these things are going to be implemented, again, it is a problem. Look at it in terms of the 2/3.
Yeah.
The one that we talk about, gender rule, the 2/3.
Yeah.
We need to be told, how is this BBI going to help us to achieve the 2/3? You know why I'm saying that?
Yeah.
Before the former Chief Justice left the office, one of the issues that he had, and it was quite strong, was actually about the 2/3 gender rule.
In fact, he almost sent the whole parliament home.
That is
because they failed, because that is what the other constitutions say.
yes.
The 2010 constitution.
Yes.
That if the parliament fails to do this, it should be dissolved. And I think that is a path that the former Chief Justice was taking. Well, we need to take a short break. We'll be right back. Don't touch that dial and keep your texts coming. We will be right back. Welcome back, my dear viewer, and here on Leadership Challenge, we are discussing styles of leadership that exist and that can help our society. And we are finding that some of the leadership styles are very backward. They make societies go backward instead of progressing. And we had reached one of the styles of leadership that we are considering to be a good style of leadership, although it has challenges. The democratic style of leadership, or the participative style of leadership. And actually we ended by looking practically at what is happening in our nation and in our country, because right now there's a process of rewriting and amending our constitution. And we were just looking at it practically because we live in this country. This is our country, and all these things affect us. And when we talk and discuss, they make the leadership to see how to go about it. And also an informed society will make right choices. Let's maybe say something more about democratic style of leadership, because we have seen that at the end of the day, the beautiful thing about this style of leadership is that people will own it. And as we were saying earlier, they can now celebrate and, you know, feel happy, feel a sense of achievement, because they have, it is their document that has gone through.
Yes.
And we reached a place we wondered whether the BBI-driven process of constitutional amendment can give us that kind of feeling after it has gone through. Will people be able to celebrate like the way we saw people running into the streets of Nairobi and feeling that what we wanted for this country has gone through? And it is this constitution that was able to, because it was brought into power democratically.
Yes.
It is this process that was able to give us a constitution like you can annul a presidential election.
Yes.
Like the way Maraga did. And I don't know whether there are people in this country that are determined that our courts will never have the power to annul any election, presidential election in this country. But let's press on a little bit on some of the benefits of or advantages of applying democratic style of leadership.
Yeah, one of the most important thing about democratic leadership style is that it brings people to a level of high trust.
Oh, wow, that's good.
And you know, if you want really to lead people well, they must trust you.
Yeah, they must trust.
They must actually get to know, if I follow Rev Felix Kavoi, at least I am safe with him.
Let me ask you before you go even very far. Do you think majority of Kenyans trust their leaders? We are here, we live in this country.
I know, if you watch the news and you listen to people talking, actually a greater percentage do not trust their leaders. And that is the challenge that we have because of the styles of leadership that we are having in our country. And therefore, when you do not actually bring people to that level, and you will not bring them to that level by authority, by telling them, do what I say. It is where you tell people, come along with me. And that is where the democratic style of leadership
Come
says,
along with me.
come along with me.
Not to grab them by the collar and drag them along you.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
It is actually you are working together.
Yes.
And when people feel that you are working with them,
Mm.
they actually start now trusting you. But right now, many people feel it is them versus us, which is a bad thing. It is people who are actually doing their own thing, and it is not for our sake.
Yeah.
And that is the problem. So one of the good thing about it, and that's where many of the leaders, they should get into that, moving with people, going with people, at least making them to be part and parcel of what is happening.
Yeah.
So the greatest thing about it is what we have said, the trust levels are very high. And when the trust levels are high, you find things are happening. And I can tell you, without even fearing,
Yeah.
because we can compare some few countries, even in Eastern Africa.
Yeah.
And I have a friend from Rwanda, and I was asking this lady, how comes you keep on voting in your president with overwhelming numbers?
And while the whole world calls him a dictator.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she told me, the thing is, this man thinks about us.
He is with us.
He is with us.
He is not up there alone.
No.
Yes.
He is going with the people.
Wow.
And they said, even next time, we can still choose this man.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's why you fight sometimes. Which other country, even in East Africa?
Have you been to Kigali of late?
I have not gone.
No, I passed there. The
Yes.
city is so clean.
That is
It looks like, actually the city center looks like somebody's home compound. So swept.
Yes.
And it's a great offense to drop litter in the city of Kigali. The leader is with the people. And how did they get to this level of cleanliness? The president participated in the people-driven sweeping and cleaning process
Yes, yes.
every last Saturday of the month.
Yes.
And the city came to this level of cleanness. Yeah, and I think many of the things that are stuck in our country, they are stuck because the leader is not coming to the people so that he can do it with the people. They remain up there in their ivory towers, and the city is rotting, and all the garbage.
Yes.
And matatus are driving on the pavement, and nobody seems to care. So the leader has to come and be with the people,
That is it.
so that now the people can do it happily.
Yes.
Yes.
Actually, they do it now, knowing that this is part of my life. My leader is also part of this.
Yes.
And therefore, it brings joy. And you know, by the way, I was challenged. When this lady went to Kigali, she dropped a piece of paper on the road. And people looked at her and wondered, where are you coming from?
Yes.
And some people, they had to ask her, are you actually
From this country.
from this country? And she
Because
said,
it never happens.
yeah, and she said, I am, but she said that I'm coming from Nairobi, Kenya. You see, they realized that
Yeah.
this is not the culture. This is not the
Yes.
behavior of our people. Because it is put in them that we must do the right thing. And therefore, they have actually don't even require anybody
Yeah.
to supervise them. They already know in their mind.
And I think it happens because there is a rule of law.
Yes.
Yeah.
As opposed to being ruled by law.
Or say that. Say more
There
about
is
that.
a difference between rule of law
Yeah.
and being ruled by law.
Wow.
So what happens is,
Yeah.
when people are ruled by law, it is actually that you are implementing what the Constitution says and what the laws of Kenya say.
Yes.
But you see, like now, what is happening, especially in our country, is whereby we look at the loopholes. Where are the loopholes in our Constitution? And we take advantage of the loopholes to be able to rule and manage people. That is being ruled by law. So people take advantage that this is not clear.
Yeah.
So they look at what is it not clear in our Constitution.
So that we
and
can.
they say, even if we do this, nobody can actually take us to court. Because the law is silent about these things. So if they are not doing what they are doing because
the rule of law
and being ruled by law.
Being ruled by law.
Yes.
Because I think what you are saying, being ruled by law, I have seen it here also in this country. I think many times the police are not out. In many times, I've found that the police would not rather warn you of where you are breaking the law.
Yes.
They would rather hide in the bush and wait for you to break the law so that they can capture you.
That's the thing.
Explain your point further.
So what is happening is you fight.
Being ruled by law.
Yeah, being ruled by law is
yeah.
whereby you fight. Someone can kill.
Yeah.
And they may not even go to the courts. And even if they go to the courtrooms, they are actually released.
Because people are using the law.
They are using the law.
They are using the law.
Just to justify. So they are, and many people keep on saying, go to committee, you may end up getting very good people who have been locked at committee, but very bad people who are out here.
Criminals.
Criminals out here,
yeah.
but good people in there. Why? It is because there are some few things in the law that actually people looked at, even the judges, they looked at those things, and when they looked at them, they could not be able to justify anything. The silent things that we are talking about. So someone is locked, not because they are supposed to be there, but because the law is silent about something.
You know, I remember that when I talk about the rule of law, I remember one day landing in Kigali, and somebody was waiting for me, and with this Kenyan, you know, culture, I entered into the taxi, and I told him, let's go, I'm late, you know, rushing to Uganda border. It's 2 hours from Kigali. And the driver was just looking at me. Then I asked him, why are we not moving? He said, I cannot move until you belt up, you put your safety belt on.
Yes.
Then my mind now woke up. And then as I was belting, I was asking him, why couldn't you move? He said, we will not even finish 200 meters. We will have been arrested.
Yes.
We will have been arrested. Yeah. And you do not need to wait for the police to see the police in uniform. You'll be arrested. So I saw people who respect the law, and people who love the rule of law. And we need to bring that to our country. And our leaders also must appear to love the rule of law, and must come to the place where they are together with the people. It is never a good thing when the leaders appear to be champions of breaking the law, because it makes people think like the law is for the law.
That is true.
The law is for the law.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not for the high.
Not for the high.
Yes.
And so what are some of are there disadvantages of this style of leadership?
Yes,
the downside of it?
Yes, there are.
Yeah.
One, when you are actually using the democratic leadership style, one of the disadvantage is it requires time for you to be able, because you are looking for views from people.
Yes.
So it may not be a very fast process like the autocratic. You know, autocratic is one.
You may not move with high speed.
Yes, you may not move with high speed. So sometimes you may find there is a little bit of a delay in terms of making the decisions. So it is not as faster as the other styles where decisions making is going to be done. Like
just give people something small,
and
they do what you want them to do, and the result is there.
Yeah, because if, for example, we talk about like people participating, it is a whole process.
Yeah, which means maybe even we will not be voting for the amendments this year, because it's a long process and the result may not be achieved that fast.
Yeah, if, for example, actually we get to be democratic, you may realize that the things that we are passing very fast, when it comes to democratic, you find that you are giving people a bit of space to be able to give you the views. And you are saying your vote may be no, but the no vote may be the most important than a yes vote.
Oh yeah.
Many times, many people want to hear a yes, but not a no. But what has brought very good bills and what have brought very good laws is actually different opinions.
Yeah.
When you challenge the status quo. So you find that that process of challenging the status quo, sometimes it takes time. So that is one of the issue, whereby if you want to move fast, then democratic style may not be your thing. If you want to move very fast and not really fulfilling every condition, then it may not be a thing.
But you see, I was also thinking and wondering, what we want is sure results, rather than quick fire kind of a result that dies down like grass fire. Don't you think this is what we need? Sometimes we need to ask our leaders. Don't you think we need to ask our leaders to slow down? Because if it's going to be, it may be slow but sure, and whatever we do is for the future of the nation, and the benefits will be enjoyed by many generations to come, rather than to rush it, and then after 10 years we are also there amending it again.
That is exactly how we are supposed to be, and that's exactly what you saw in 2010 Constitution. It took a long time. From the time they started talking about changing the Constitution, it took quite a long time. But I can tell you, even other countries right now, they say if there is a good constitution in the world, it is the constitutions of Kenya. It is a constitution where people sat down, and many people actually took a lot of time to think about what they were putting in the document. It may not be 100%. There are some few issues to be changed, which some of them they are trying to address them using the BBI. But what I am saying is, as we have said, is that the time is actually, as you are saying, people must be good planners now. If you want to achieve this, and that is one of the skills. I know one of these days we'll
mention a little bit of the leadership skills towards the end of this episode. So
if, for example, you want to be in this leadership style, and you make people to be happy, people to be motivated, you must have the planning skills in force. Such that you are able to plan things and get to see. You see, right now, people are just saying in BBI, saying we don't have any luxury of time. For what? It is actually because you did not plan. And it is
supposed to be our constitution. So luxury of time, where? For who?
That is the
because
thing.
We are here. And we are here to stay.
Because
it can take as long as we want. It's our process. So you are actually doing it as if it is your process. It is actually for Kenyans. It's not a personal process. It is a national process.
So I would say there is a problem in terms of the planning. If you are not a good planner, you will have a very big problem in terms of the democratic quest.
Wow. Democratic style of leadership, or participative style of leadership. How I pray that we will see this style of leadership taking effect in our country, and how I pray that our leaders will embrace this style of leadership, where instead of thinking about the power that is within them to overrule the suggestions and ideas of others, they can think more of how they can bring in people to participate and bring their ideas, and also merge their ideas with what they have. We are taking a short break, and keep your texts coming, the number that is appearing on the screen. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Leadership Challenge show here on EBN TV today with Pastor David Kamau, Wamadhu, as our guest, and myself, your host, Rev Felix Kavoi. We have been discussing styles of leadership, and so far we have covered 3. We will cover one more that we feel could be very advantageous to our nation, the most advantageous, and then maybe after that we can touch a little bit on skills of leadership. Pastor David, welcome back.
Thank you.
And I don't know of all these styles of leadership. When I look at this one, I'm talking of something like around 8, 9, 10 leadership styles. Which one can you summarize as the most beneficial to a society?
There is one that I like very much.
Yes.
And I think I have seen it practical in very many occasions.
Yeah.
And I feel that is the one that we should tackle right now. It is called the affiliative leadership style.
Yeah.
And why I love this one is because of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Wow.
He is one of the example of a affiliative leader. You know, the Bible says that, you see, the way Jesus came.
Yes.
He came to the world to save the lost. So what drove him to come to the world? And that's why the Bible says, for God so loved the world that he gave.
John 3:16.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he was driven by the desire to have people to be liberated.
Yes.
He was driven by the desire so that the humankind can be able to rise again.
Yes.
So when we talk about affiliative,
yes,
we talk about human being now rising again, reigning again. So we talk about people now.
Yeah. Oh, we are not talking about the leader now.
No, we are not
It's
talking
still leadership.
Yes.
But the emphasis is not on the leader.
It is on the people
It's
now.
the emphasis is on the people.
It's on the people.
Please carry on.
And if you look at even the preamble for our constitution,
yes,
it talks about two things. One, it talks about sovereignty of God, and number two, it talks about the sovereignty of the people.
That's true.
And that is actually, if you look at it even in the constitution, it's coming as the preamble.
Yeah.
It tells you that people are the most important thing or important persons you can have in any way. And therefore, if that is so dominant, the affiliative is actually something which is major. It tells us when you are actually going to lead people, the first thing that drives you is actually touching the emotions of people. And
which other name do you call affiliative?
Affiliative is actually, okay, it is like relationship. It is
charismatic?
Relationship. Yes,
Is
it
it
can
that?
also be charismatic.
Is the charismatic style of leadership?
Yes, yes.
Okay, carry on. Yes.
So that affiliative, what it does is, when you are leading, first of all, you sit down and ask, what is it that my people want? What is it that can improve the life of our people?
Yeah.
And this is one of the leadership that we are lacking with our leaders.
And in many places.
Yes, they
and
don't.
Here in Africa.
Yes.
Is largely lacking.
Yes, it is lacking. They do not really, first of all, think about developing people. They do not think about what is it that we can do to change this society. So every decisions they make, it is actually anchored on people.
Wow.
It is people who drive their agenda.
Yes.
It is not them who drive their agenda to the people.
Yes.
So they look at it, and that's why, let me tell you, a good
please.
example, even in this country.
Bring it on.
You see, there are some few things that right now the country of Kenya is struggling with.
Yes.
There are two positions, which I do not want to say which is good and which is not bad.
No, we are not here to do that.
But what is happening is that you have talked about, you have heard something about the hustler movement. And sometimes it is becoming too popular. And you ask yourself, why is this movement becoming too popular? It is because it is first of all trying to address the issues.
Oh, it is about the people.
Yeah, the people.
It's about the people.
So what they have tried to do, they have changed it in a way that it is not being seen as their own thing. So they are not looking for power. You hear now they say in the BBI, it is 5 men who are trying to get position.
Yeah.
But then they are saying, we are actually trying to improve the life of the people.
Yeah.
And that's why they are saying, anybody can become anything. So they say that we want to make sure that
anybody can become
anything.
I think I like that. Let's stay there for some time. I think you touched a chord inside me. You see, they said why we must have the BBI process is so that never again will Kenyans fight each other. Of course, I did not know whether it is Kenyans who fight or it is leaders who fight. That one is debatable. But I thought now, I think what you are talking about, you are calling the Hustler movement. I think it is, okay, let's not call movement, the narrative, the idea. I think it is one that can make people never to fight again. I don't know what you think about that.
You see, if we do not bring politics, and you see, the whole issue is politicians, they actually bring politics in every other thing. And what is happening is there are some few things, if you want even to develop an economy, you develop economy by starting from down here. Because if you empower the people who are down here, there is a very big economy which people do not see. And that's why if you look at it, has been actually a story about the economy, the Kadogo economy.
The Kadogo,
yes.
The Bamba economy.
That economy is a big economy. Because you are saying that we have some businesses which are able to generate, and these are actually maybe like 1,000 businesses. But you are talking about 50 million people who are able to be empowered and able to do something for the economy of this country. So when you bring that synergy, you bring such a big economy. So you find that when you actually touch on the emotions of people, and that is what the affiliative leaders, they have actually excelled in. They do not talk much about themselves. What they will do is they will talk too much about the person down there, the people.
And the things that are affecting the people.
And when now they bring that, what happens is that the people now start actually to feel empowered. And those are some of the words you'll keep on hearing people, that we are empowering people. So this affiliative, it actually gets to empowerment. It gets to making sure that everybody, you might be doing this small business, you might be doing this big business, but all of people have been empowered. So the leaders, what they have done, for you to be affiliative leader, you must be someone who is keen to know what is happening in every particular place.
And I pray that leaders will not be hypocritical about it. If it's about the people, let it be about people. And something very important that you have said, that if we can grow our economy right from the grassroots, thinking about the needs of the people and how we can help the people to bring their avocados. You see, I've tried a little bit of farming, Pastor David, and one of the things that is upsetting us in the farming sector, you find that the farmer is not protected. There is nobody who is fighting for the rights of the farmer. The farmer is working hard. The inputs are very expensive before you can harvest. And you find when it comes, the leaders have allowed, let's say, for example, if it is onions, because I've grown that for some time, you find when we harvest our onions here, the fertilizers that we are using, the insects that we are using, they are very expensive. The seeds that we are buying are very expensive. And we are competing with onions that are coming from Tanzania. And Tanzania, there is no tax on those things. So you find that their onion, even if they sell it at 20 shillings per kg, but if you sell the onion you are produced here in Kenya for 40 bob, you have been roasted. There is no profit at all. So these are some of the things I wish the leaders will stop to be hypocritical. And I believe, because you are saying it's not about positions, it's about the people.
It is people,
that God will help us. We have this affiliative type of leadership here, and so that now we can begin to grow the country right from the grassroots. Are there some disadvantages of this?
The disadvantage also, actually, in all these leadership, and that's why we started
Each one
by
has
saying it has a positive
cons,
and it has a bit of advantage and disadvantage.
The upside and the downside.
And therefore, you may have to balance them. One of the disadvantage of this leadership style is actually what you actually started by saying, that sometimes people can be cunning. They can do what they are doing, not because they are thinking about you, but it is about themselves. So you also need people who are enlightened to be able to see, is it for me or is it for another person?
Yeah.
So there is a disadvantage in the sense that sometimes you can be taken advantage of. And that's why you'll keep on saying, this is actually, they are talking about me. Well, they are not talking about you. They are still talking about themselves, but for you, you are thinking that they are talking about me. And the disadvantage also can be, you see, once now, for example, because it touches the emotions. Actually, this touches on the emotions of people.
Yeah.
It is sometimes you can rest in a position that you are thinking, this is actually talking about me. And it is really not talking about you. So it is a position you have to be very careful also. Because if you don't have an honest, a trustworthy leader, what will happen is that they are going to play with your emotions.
Yeah.
And when they catch your emotions, they can take you to any length, thinking that you have actually achieved by you now accepting that kind of a story, narration, that is coming in about people. Because most of the people have actually been exploited.
Yeah, exploitation is taking place big time.
Yes. So that is actually, it is actually an area you have to be very careful also, so that you are not exploited when people are actually playing with their emotions. That is actually a downside.
Wow. It stands out that the leaders, if we are going to have the benefits of affiliative style of leadership, then we have to think about people and we must do for the people. We thank God for the big projects that the government wants to do, but we are worried about the small road that can link, a small bridge that can link the farmers across the river, which struggle all the time to bring their products, their farm products, to the market.
Yes.
These are things that can go a long way in lifting our economy. Now, that is for leaders, but also for the people. We must come to the place where we demand that leaders think about us and not about them. And they must involve us, and whatever they are talking about, it must start in a place we can see it. Right in our villages, right in our markets. Well, that is amazing. We have 1 minute or so, and I want us to mention a little bit on skills of leadership and see, when leaders are in office, what are some of the skills they should employ for maximum result or gain? Please come on.
Again, the skills are so many, but we can narrow them down.
Yeah, we can just mention
some few topics. And one of the skills that we can talk about is that leaders need to be strategic.
Oh, yeah.
And when we talk about being strategic, is that they are able to see a vision from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
They are able to know this vision that I have. These are some of the shortfalls that I can get into this if I am not a strategic leader.
Yeah.
So that skill of being strategic
is very, very important. And I think, Pastor David, you're talking about, when you talk about strategic, you're talking about leaders coming to a place where they can set goals and begin to explore ways they can achieve those goals. Yes.
The number 2 skill is actually, as you have set these goals, there is what we call planning and delivery.
Wow.
So you must be able to plan on how you are going to deliver. Most of the people, they are good in talking. But when it comes to delivery, they have a bit of a problem. So you must learn the skills of delivery. So for that, you must be a good planner in order to be able to deliver. The other skill is what we call the people management.
People management.
And actually,
thinking about the people you lead.
Yes. And actually, we talked about the levels of leadership. And one of the things that we realized, if you want to see multiplication, is when you manage people well. It's when you bring the teamwork. It's when you understand the people that you are leading. So that skill about the people management is very important for all our leaders.
I was waiting for you to mention the skill on leaders inspiring upcoming and young leaders.
It is still,
say something. Keep on going.
It is actually coming. And the other style is what we call the change management skill.
Change management skill.
That is one skill that almost every leader should have.
Wow.
They are able to scan the environment and see what is happening with the environment, and from there they are able to make some few changes which are going to be beneficial to the people that they are leading. So change management is actually a skill that almost everybody is supposed to need. The other skill is what we call the communication skill.
Communication skills.
And the communication skill, it is actually based in so many topics. All those things, they can be broken down into very many topics. But one of the things that is so important in communication skill is what we call active listening.
Active listening.
And this is what is lacking in most of the leaders.
Wow.
They don't listen. They are not active in terms of listening to the people that they are leading. And therefore, that is something that we can talk and talk. But it is a skill that if you want to win your people, active listening is supposed to be there. And the other one which you are talking about is what we call the persuasiveness and influence. That is actually where you are saying you want to grow. You want to influence. You want to inspire people. So that can be broken in all that. That one of persuasiveness and influence, it's actually you want to inspire. And you want to make people to be better. You're going to train them to get to those kind of levels. Those
you know, Pastor David, you are making our saliva just gather in the mouth because we want to hear more about skills. And yet now we are finishing. I think we're going to have another episode where we just come and discuss skills in leadership. And we must end it there. I don't know what are your closing comments.
I would say that leaders need to be very careful about the people that they lead. If you want to get good results, you must think about the welfare of the people that you are leading. It is of no use for you to be that high and your people that you are leading are very low. So if we have heart for the people, it is going to change the way we think, the way we lead, the way we do our things. Because if you have a happy people that you are leading, all the times the results are going to be excellent and you are going even to go far. So the reason as to why many times we are not able to progress so well, it's because we are not thinking about the people in our leadership. But when we settle on our leadership by thinking about people, touching the emotions of people, empathizing with people, that is going to make us to be great leaders, and we'll have results that can be sustained for a long time.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Pastor David, for being together with us in the Leadership Challenge show tonight. And my dear viewer and leader, wherever you are, be careful to catch up with us at 7:15 p.m. every Tuesday. We are here discussing and having conversation on leadership. Today it was very valuable, and I believe you can also find this on the YouTube channel of this station, Ecclesia Broadcasting Network. Thank you so much for being with us in our show tonight, And I say, keep it EBN for other wonderful programs. And until next time, God bless you. Shalom, peace.